Satan's plan has always been to destroy the lives of men and hinder them from living the life God intended. He is at work even more now, knowing that his time is over. Deliverance Moment brings you gripping testimonies of victors who, by the unstoppable power of God, have escaped Satan's firm, deadly grip and are now ready to expose his schemes and devices against the unsuspecting masses.
Greetings to you, our dear viewers. My name is Lorna Marriet Mirembe, and with me in studio is Evangelist Patrick Wandera, who is one of the pastors at Deliverance Church, Marriet Hill in Uganda. He is one of the sought-after speakers at open-air crusades here in Uganda, East Africa, and even beyond. He has received his theological training at Carmel International Leadership Academy, that is in Bristol, UK, and in 2002 and 2005 is when he attended that training. Right after that training, the Lord revealed to him that one of his nieces, who was in his immediate space, had been under bondage for 7 years. Now the Lord used him to deliver his niece, and after the deliverance, he started up a deliverance clinic at Deliverance Church, Marriet Hill, that operates Monday to Friday. And after, he was also inspired to write a book, which was his first book and national bestseller, and it also got an award. That is 7 Years in Hell and A Few Minutes in Heaven. Right after the publication of this book, the Lord also inspired him to write another book that is called Soul Merchants, and Soul Merchants was his second publication. Today we are going to talk about his third publication, that is Satan's Attack on the Local Church. But before we get into this book, we'd like to ask the pastor about the titles of these books. Realize that they are out of the usual titles that we see, and they're quite interesting. Evangelist Patrick, you're very welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Lorna.
Please give us some detail about how you come up with these titles for these particular books.
Amen. Greetings to all our viewers. I don't know what time you're watching us from your place, so I won't say good evening or good morning.
Indeed.
But I'm glad that we're in the studio today to talk about this book, Satan's Attacks on the Local Church. But before that, as Lorna has said, I've written other books. My first book is this one, 7 Years in Hell, A Few Minutes in Heaven. As you see, the title is quite unique. So when we talk about years in hell, some people can be thinking, because we have not experienced that, they think hell is very far from us. So, maybe somebody has gone through a lot of suffering. It's not what we are talking about. We are talking about real hell in the world of Satan.
Not the phrase that we usually give.
No.
But, I'm going through hell right now.
No, that one is a joke. You don't know what you're talking about. This is real hell. Somebody was captured. This is my sister's daughter who had a very difficult childhood. She was sickly and what. But later on, she was taken by a gentleman who is a leading musician here in the country, and taken under the water. People hear of people going under the water looking for wealth and what. And they think it's a myth. It's a real world. So this young girl was taken there and handed over to Satan, where she stayed for 7 years eating human flesh and human blood. We did not know that, but we did know that all her suffering, the sicknesses and all those kind of things were coming because her soul was detached from her and was going through a lot of torture. So it is during a time when she comes to Kampala, she's looking for a school in Kampala to be helped, to go to HSC that God uses me. She came to my home because I'm her uncle. She was just on her way somewhere on a mission by the devil, commissioned to go and capture especially children of pastors and Christians, to initiate them into Satanism. That school is a very popular school, very beautiful when you look at it. It's a really good school.
Top performing too?
Top performing. Okay. So many Christians are attracted to that school, but they don't know that the owner of the school is a devil worshipper. So this girl was going to join them. Now, when she comes and passes through my home, my wife says, no, we can't take her there. And we begin now praying for her. I discover a lot of things. The girl is moving like a snake. The tongue is out. She's vomiting human hair. Things that are amazing. So the deliverance took about 7 days. Then later on the last day, I prayed from 7 to 3 a.m.
What?
From 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. non-stop. So eventually, I counted every kind of demons. The real spirits, human spirits. Somebody manifests and says, "I'm so and so." And what was surprising was the musicians whom I knew very well, who are known nationally and internationally. They are saying, "I'm so and so." We took this girl. We are with her. She works for us. And I kept on praying and casting out these spirits until Lucifer himself showed up and was, I'm Lucifer, the prince of darkness. I've been holding this girl for 7 years. I took her because she had a talent to sing and she was going to sing gospel songs. So I took her and trained her to sing my songs. You see, the devil does not give talent, but he steals talent. Then he manipulates it and corrupts it so that it serves his kingdom to lure people into Satanism. So after a long struggle, I called this girl after casting out the devil himself. I called the girl, and she comes back, and she's like somebody out of sleep. She doesn't know where she is. She thinks she's still in P7 when she was supposed to be going to HSC. She can't remember anything of the 7 years. She only remembers from day one up to the time of her captivity, the time they captured her when she was in P7. So now she talks about things. So there I discover now somebody can be. I had been involved in deliverance. I had done a lot of deliverances, even going to UK for training. I had been in ministry because I began ministry literally now. 97.
Okay.
Now, from 97, I was in ministry. So I go for training from 2002 to 2005 in the UK. So now I had dealt with a lot of cases. So I discover somebody can be here while it's not there. So this girl now begins revealing a lot of truth in the music industry and stuff. This book is powerful. It's an award-winning book. Then we have that other book, Soul Merchants. After delivering this girl, the second week, I met another girl came. We were holding an open-air crusade here at church. Then the devil sent a girl who had 40 snakes in her stomach. And she was supposed to get 20 more to make 60 to become a power pack. What? So that when she comes to attack, she's terrible. She would look at our machines, the PA system, and it goes off. Nobody has switched it off, but, the things go off. I've put a bit of her story in here as well. Okay. So then from there, when we open up the deliverance clinic, God began to bring a lot of people. So in this book, it's called Soul Merchants. Soul Merchants, they are people who are specialized in trading people's souls. They have sold their souls to the devil, but they can also buy people's souls and trade them. So Soul Merchants, in this book, one of the most interesting story is a story about a young man whom I got in some school of clinic officers, Fort Portal School of Clinic Officers. I had gone there to preach. But I found a boy who was initiated into Satanism through a computer, through the internet. He went on the devil's website, Antichrist website, logged in, began watching, checking information. They told him, you can't go beyond here unless you subscribe to become a member. He tried to lie people, to put in other people's names, but the computer would reject. When he put his, the computer accepted. You are accepted, you are now a member. So he went to sleep, and at night a dragon came. Some huge people came and removed he found himself getting out of the body, and the dragon entered the body.
Was this a physical encounter?
Yes, it was now at school. They had footsteps, some noisy footsteps, which in Uganda we call Bukarabanda. So children dived into the school. He was in Ntale by then. So some spirits came and stood there, huge beings, and he found himself getting out of the body, and the dragon entered that body. Now, the dragon was supposed to use that body to make him a president of Uganda. He would learn things without knowing. He sticked on somewhere about the angel of trumpet, who was now supposed to work with him to mobilize support for him. He was like a magnet for the crowds. If you put him anywhere, if he's standing for any post, people run from everywhere. They crowd the guy, they will carry him. He would, if he stood for any post, he would sweep all the way. I see this in many political things, especially here in Uganda. You want to know what is going on in the world of politics? Please read this book. And it talks about, I have a lot of other testimonies of people who had been captured by the devil, whom I put here. So it is a powerful book which I want you to buy. It's called Soul Merchants. Right now you can get these books on Amazon. And in Uganda, you can get them from some of our local bookshops in Kampala, like Uganda Bookshop and Enjoy, and a few other bookshops. I have written another book. It's called An 8-Year Boy's. Okay, it's called An Hour in Heaven and Hell. It's about my boy's story. God took him to heaven and hell. The Lord Jesus took him to heaven and hell when he was 8 years. It's a beautiful book. It's still on soft copies and on Amazon. So you can get your copy. You can get a copy for yourself, but soon it will be out in hard form.
Okay, thank you so much, Evie, for that detailed introduction. I hope you have already made a decision to purchase both books so that you can keep on track with what is happening, especially in the spiritual world. Now we are going to dive into bits of Satan's attack on the local church because it is the latest book on publication. Pastor, you told us in this book how Nsubuga, who is the main person actually in the book, would get blindness whenever he was in class. Whenever he would reach class, he would just stop to see. Was there a particular reason why that was happening to him?
Yes. Nsubuga, first of all, he comes from a very difficult home where everybody is involved in witchcraft. But they were nominal Christians. They were Catholics. They went to church. They never blamed them for being witches. So the grandparents had entered the covenant with the devil when they were looking for wealth. So the devil caused them to make a covenant so that only in every generation, only one male child remains. All the children who would be born in that family would die mysterious death. So they could not take these children to school until they are 9. But with the girls, they would grow. Some of them were really servants of the devil. Now, for Nsubuga, he was a chosen kid, but the family did not know. They knew he was just going to die. So they waited for him. Here in Uganda, children go to school, P1, they begin P1 when they are 6 years. Nsubuga, by 6, they were still waiting for him to die. 7 years, they were waiting for him to die. 8 years, they were waiting
for him to die.
Until 9 years. So when he reached 9 years, they decided to take him to school. They knew now he's not going to die. And looking at his age and the kids he was going to study with, they knew he's going to study things very fast, but that was not the case. So he reached school, and every time he would enter class, at home he would be very okay. He could see clearly, but in class he can't see a blackboard, he can't see a teacher, he can't see his books. He would go totally blind. So they reported his case. They went to hospital. They couldn't find the problem. They went to witch doctors. They could not sort him out. They did everything. But because the devil did not want him to study, he was chosen. So that's how he ended up dropping out of school and stopped in P1.
Okay. In the book, you also talk about how he used to have night movements. You know, he would enter his bed like any other child when the night would be starting. And then by morning, he's like by a waterside, all lost in a forest. How did that used to happen to him, and how did the healing process encounter also?
Yes, Nsubuga's childhood, thank you. Nsubuga's childhood was very unique. This is a kid who would be put in a bed, and you lock the whole house, you lock securely from inside. He's a child who cannot wake up and open the door. But they would wake up in the night or in the morning when the child is missing from the house. But the doors are securely locked, even the windows. Nothing is open, but the child is missing. So they'll go searching for this kid everywhere. Then they'll find him. He would be sleeping near a water body somewhere. And the problem went on like that for a long time. Sometimes when he began to be a bit of independent, he would now try to look for home. The good thing, he would find himself in a place at least which is a bit familiar. So he would walk, and it would take him sometime almost the whole day to reach home. It reached a point when they would have the grandmother suggested that they tie him on the bed.
Did that work?
So they tied him, or they would try to tie him on the bed. They wake up and their ropes are there. The bed is there, but the guy has gone. Until they got somebody. They told the auntie who was working in Kampala brought a very powerful witch who did something so simple, and the guy just he performed the ritual. The guy did it, and he seemed to be sorted. Now that act caused him to love the auntie so much. He knew this auntie has healed me from my problem, and he was looking forward to coming to Kampala. But it was a connection of the devil, making sure this guy has to come to Kampala through the aunt.
Who is already in the system.
Yes, in the system.
Okay, we realize in the book that, when he comes to Kampala through the auntie, the plan is, of course, successful. So he has come with the auntie. And while at the shop, the auntie had a husband who had a shop. And at the shop, there is a stranger that comes, knows him by name, knows the entire family, knows everything that is attached to him. Pastor, is there a particular way how in the satanic world all of your information is given to the scout before they come and headhunt you?
Now, the devil has, the satanic world works with spirits. Spirits coordinate. Nsubuga was coming from Masaka, which is very far from Kampala. He has come to Kampala and he meets this stranger whom he has never met before. The guy comes, Nsubuga does not know anybody in Kampala except the aunt and the husband. So they are trying, because he failed to go through formal education, they tell him to go and learn something, which is hands-on. So he wanted to do carpentry. Now, this guy comes in like he's coming to buy, but he was under the inspiration of the spirits, because spirits talk to them and tell them, like, I have so-and-so, go and pick that person. Like in the Bible, I think we have such instances where we have a lot of instances where God instructed people. Like he instructed Samuel, a man will come to you from Benjamin's tribe. He will be looking for his donkeys. I have chosen him to be a king. So God is speaking to Samuel before Saul comes. So this guy was also like that. The devil works through spirits. Told him they must have told him to come to
Kampala?
To the workshop, to look for a certain young man. So when he reached there, demons gave him all the information about this guy. So he was talking. He just said, he just parked there his car, went to the workshop, then he pretended like I had not seen him. So when he comes back, he looks at the guy and says, hey, you are Joseph. I know you, Joseph. How are you? How is Masaka? So he talks to him. The guy is surprised how he knows him. I know your home, and you this, so and so, your father is this and that, and he's talking accurate information about this guy. And the guy thought maybe the guy knew him, but it was evil spirits, purely evil spirits.
Should we also take it that in the Christian world, people have the spirit of divination and understanding things before they are perceived to them? Is that also the same case for Nsubuga?
Yes, we have to be very careful. The devil he copies what is supposed to be in the house of God. So God speaks to his people through prophets, through his word. This is what we call the word of knowledge, the spirit of prophecy. But the devil takes it to another level. That even in the church, we have people who call themselves prophets, but they are using spirits of divination. That you can go there and even tell you what you are putting on your underwear. They tell you what you ate last night. They tell you a lot of information and you get surprised. But our information in the church is supposed to lead us to God. But this thing which glorifies the man of God, and you think, wow. No, there's a problem.
Okay. Most of us, the youth, we like free things so much. And in the book, we realize how Fred starts to give Joseph some free money, and somehow the free money corrupts his morals. He's no longer the disciplined boy. He's no longer hardworking as he used to be. So should we take it that the free gifts that Fred was giving to Nsubuga were in exchange for the purchase of his soul?
Yes, now let me say that because our viewers have not known the book, but you'll read this in the book. When Fred was going, after talking to this guy, and he gave him 20,000. The following day, he comes back, he gives him 20,000. And he did that through the week. The following week, he increased it from 20 to 50,000. This boy had worked for a whole month to get 20,000, which he used to get to come from Masaka to Kampala. Now somebody is giving him for free. Then the following day, so he tried to tell the aunt about the story and about this boy, and the aunt was wondering who is this strange boy who does that. When she wanted to find out, the guy stopped telling her. He had nothing to do for this money, and he would eat, buy a lot of stuff. He thought this guy knows him so much, and like somebody said, the way to a man's heart is through the stomach. Money can corrupt, money can do anything. So that money began to win his heart. He thinks this guy loves him. But in this world, there are no free rides. Somebody is giving you, but he knows what he's doing, and this is what is killing young people. At the end of the day, the guy had lost interest in the auntie, no dependence on the auntie. He was dependent on this guy. He loved the guy. Brought a lot of problem with the auntie until they parted, and they cut him off literally from this guy, from the aunt.
In case you are a viewer that is not yet familiar with the book we are talking about, this is the book that we are talking about, Satan's Attack on the Local Church. Pastor, in this book there is a point where you mention how Nsubuga's temple was cut and some spirits of lust were imparted into him. At this point, is he aware of what is happening, or it's just something happening in the subconscious world?
Oh, yes. Now, when this guy joined this group, they began to work on him. The foods they were giving him, even the drinks. They would give him soda, but that soda was mixed with human blood, and he did not know. Now, as he drank that, demons began to enter him. Because demons walk on objects. They can use, like this funny water and many things. That's why when you go to a witch doctor, they will give you herbs. When you drink that herb or you bathe that herb, you are thinking you're cleansing yourself, but you are imparting yourself with demons. So you end up in captivity. So this boy, he was drinking that soda which had blood. It began to corrupt him. Demons began to control him. So the friend suggests that we go and visit my home. They go to visit the friend's home in Kayunga. But they were going to a very powerful witch. We reached there. There are many things that happened, which are recorded in here. But he was forced to sleep there. And where they slept, by the time when he woke up in the morning, they had cut him, something around here. And he was wondering. He asked the friend what happened, and he's telling me mosquito bite. But that one, it was something which they did and imparted demons of lust. Now, this guy was to be a carrier of evil spirits. The thing was near the eye. So when he would look at somebody, say in your eyes, any woman, so long as you are not born again, you belong to which religion it is, even if you pray how many times a day, but you are not born again Christian, filled with the Holy Spirit. If he looked at you and your woman, you'll be hypnotized. He would take his demons would take control of your mind. Then whatever he tells you, you do it. He would sleep with people's wives, very beautiful girls. If his friends also wanted any girl, they just only needed to clap to get the attention of the girl, or do something to get attention of the girl. If you looked at them and met the eyes, met Nsubuga's eyes, that would be the end of that girl. When Nsubuga tells her something, she would do it. You go with this boy and what. So he became a trap, a carrier of demons. They had put a lot of strong spirits in him.
Okay, I noticed how in most of the books there is the spread of the spirit of immorality, sexual immorality in particular. Is it the main task that most of the satanic agents are assigned to?
Yes. Satanists, in the satanic world is like a kingdom or a country. We have the kingdom of God and we have the kingdom of Satan. Like you have a country of Uganda and a country of Kenya. There are certain things in a country, there are certain departments. You have offices, different offices. You have Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Information, Education. There's Army, there are different things. So these guys are specialized in certain departments. There are those who are specialized in capturing people through music. There are those who are specialized in capturing people through church. There are others through the internet, social media, and many other departments. But one thing is common to them. The thing that is common to all these guys, they have to carry demons of immorality. Because immorality, the devil uses the spirit of lust and immorality so much to capture people. That's why, in the West now, they're using people in pornography. Sex can be done in open parks everywhere. Animals, they start bestiality. So it is a spirit which has put people in a bondage. Every Satanist carries the spirit of immorality.
Is it possible for a Satanist to have the spirit of immorality and perversion at the same time?
Now, perversion, those are people who are, carry demons of immorality, over homosexuality and lesbianism. Those spirits are too strong. I've prayed for people who have spirit of homosexuality. In fact, on Friday, just 2 days ago, we prayed for one. I had to get 5. We have 4 men and a woman plus a woman. We held this boy down, but he was too strong. He would carry us. It was a real wrestling match because they are too strong. Now, those spirits, they don't normally mix them with demons of immorality. That one who is specialized in carrying those demons, they will just be specialized in that and lure people into homosexuality. They are terrible demons. Don't be, if you are homo, no, you need deliverance. Deliverance. God loves you, but you need deliverance. Otherwise, you are going to hell.
Okay, in the book we noticed that Nsubuga, after some time, is passed on from Fred to Simon. And then he says how his mission is accomplished. Should we take it that also in the satanic world there is hierarchy where, you were a scout, after a scout you have to hand over to a next trainer? What is the mystery behind Nsubuga being passed on from Fred to Simon?
The way the world of Satan works is exactly the way our physical world works. Just like you see clubs, European clubs, looking for football clubs or basketball clubs basketball clubs in America, looking for talents all over the world. So they will have their scouts who will come and watch people on the local level, internationally. Then when they see somebody who is good, they know this one needs more skilling, more education. They will take that raw talent and go and make that talent professional and become a world star. Like Ronaldo is now a world star. They had to get him from somebody scouted him. So there are those who have the speciality of looking around. They can come to church and look even at people who are in the choir. This person has a good voice, then they'll begin, they come like they are giving them opportunities and lure them to their sides. So this young man, Fred, his work is to look for that. But spirits lead him. Here you can maybe follow other things like watching on YouTube somebody's skills, the videos they have put there. But these ones are led by the spirits. So the spirits tell him, like I remember this example I told you also, how God told Samuel that I have somebody from Benjamin who's coming. So this guy, now his work was to scout out, then he gives them initial training, then he hands over to another senior person like Simon. Simon, we talk about Simon here. The guy would turn into anything. He was a terrible guy. He's the one who taught Suga how to eat human flesh. So he took him deeper. He's the one who took this guy to the waters to see Satan, where he met Satan. The guy had turned into a dog, and it's a story.
Okay, I noticed that when Nsubuga is passed on to Simon, Simon is not wasting any minute. By the clock, in a few minutes, he's already learning how to read, he's already learning how to write. what is the urgency? Is it that we, the Christians, are being slow and taking advantage, or just being reluctant of God's favor and God's grace around us, and yet in the other world it is the other way around?
Yes, I think it's twofold. With Christianity, we have not known how urgent. Our mission, we don't act with urgency. We seem to be sluggish. The devil knows his time is over. He knows we are moving towards the end time, and he must win as many people as possible. We are also supposed to be doing that, to win as many people as possible to the kingdom. So the Bible says in Revelation 12:12 that rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. But woe unto the earth and the inhabitants of the sea, for the devil has come upon you with great anger, knowing his time is over. The devil, from the time he was cast out of heaven, he came knowing he has judgment. He is going to be thrown into the lake of fire.
And he doesn't want to be alone.
He doesn't want to be alone. He wants to win the whole world. And the only way he can do that, it is through sin. So when they get these guys, they are generals. They are like evangelists for the other kingdom. So they have to win as many people as possible. And how does the devil win people? He uses the things that are attractive to the flesh. So, sex is one channel which is taking thousands to hell. Then money, the lust of the flesh, a lot of things. So the devil puts, and we talk about different kind of spirits which this guy would impart in people, and we go into details to explain what happens in the world of Satan and how they attack churches.
Okay. In the book, in the same spirit of urgency, that very day he is taken to Lake Victoria, and there is an evil being that he talks about that enters him to make him speak different languages. Was there a particular reason that it was going to help him maybe to do the kingdom work?
Yes. Now, as we have already told you that this guy did not get educated. The demons did not allow him to get educated. But he needed to do a global kind of job. So he needed supernatural abilities. For instance, you cannot communicate with the world when you don't know English properly, or some international language of sort. But English is the biggest international language. And also reading, writing, because we use now social media, we use many things. So this guy, they had to give him something which would empower him to do that. Because the work is urgent, he needs to use every kind of avenue. So they performed a ritual where they, first of all, teaching him to read, it was overnight, just in 1 hour. Just got some evil book which was full of demons. It was called some monster. They told him to open a certain page. He opened it. Then they told him to cover and said certain words. Then he said, "I am ready." So that one was a covenant signed. Later they take him, during that ceremony, they take him at the lake. They went with a pigeon, did something with that pigeon, and they released it. They told him to face the lake. Then something came and entered him, part for part. Like a being enters you which can fit into your body part for part. So it entered him, disappeared into him. It is ears, into his ears, its nostril, it is eyes, it is tongue, into his tongue. It was like you put your body into, say, your leg into the socks, and it fits there. Or into a glove, say. So, what happened now? From that time, he began out, he would listen if he met somebody from any country, or say any tribe, or any country, any language. If he discovers, if he would know your language, spirits will tell him. So when he meets you, he begins talking to you in your language. But he would be using the ears of that thing and the tongue of that, but he would hear it with a perfect understanding. Then English would speak perfect English. Even that thing taught him how to use computer, Facebook, and how to capture people through that.
Okay. Science tells us how our bodies need a lot of vitamins, proteins, carbohydrates, for the different body cells to grow, the white blood cells, the red blood cells, and all of that. But now in this book, we realize how Nsubuga starts to feed on human flesh. And remember, he was already taking the soda that had the human blood. Pastor, how does that happen? How does he start to have the desire for human flesh?
Now,
And
that
not
was
food?
a very interesting kind of transition. He was born in a witchcraft family, but they were eating food like every other person. Now he comes here and he finds people who are at a higher level of Satanism. So they began conditioning him through certain foods and drinks. So they would give him a drink, which was actually they conditioned him through a drink. This guy called Fred, Simon had already now moved away from Fred, they come to Simon. So Simon always had Coca-Cola in his fridge and Mirinda Frutte. So there were only two types of soda. So he would mix blood into those sodas, and when this guy would drink, he had a chemical which would make this blend, the blood to blend with the soda that you could not tell the difference. So as he kept on drinking, demons were entering him and corrupting him. It reached a time when they switched him off completely from it reached off his appetite. He just lost appetite for food. Now, when this guy discovered that time has come for this, he just bought raw meat to test and see where this guy had reached. So he put it there on the sink. Next thing, the guy lost his conscience. By the time he came to himself, had already eaten a whole kilo of meat, raw meat. From that time, he never reversed. He lost completely desire for food. They introduced him to human flesh, human blood, and he was being supplied by a doctor in one of our leading hospitals here who works in a mortuary. There are dead bodies which are not claimed. So they would chop dead body, parts of the body, bring, and he would put stuff in a fridge which was in a bedroom, locked with a padlock. Nobody would access that. So anytime he would become thick, he would grow teeth like a vampire. Now he had become something else. Because you see, God made us in his own image and likeness. So the devil wants people to take on his image and likeness. He's a beast. He's an animal. So he had to transition this guy. He was calling the devil his father. So to be a child of the devil, he had to be really like the devil. So he began to eat. Now you asked, for us we need carbohydrates, every kind of what. We have to know that the Bible says, blood, the life of the flesh is in the blood. So when their system is corrupted, they begin acting like spirits, like evil spirits. Because now there are spirits which are eating through them, and they are feeding the spirits, and this blood empowers them. That's why there are so many accidents. There are so many deaths in the hospitals. There are people who are, even in the hospital, who are agents. We talk about some of the things in this book, a lot of them. Yeah. So you want detailed teaching about this, and other things, we have put them right in the book.
Okay, in the book you also talk about, the holy water, and it's something that is famous here in Uganda in some particular congregations. How is it attached to witchcraft, like you mentioned in the book?
Yes, now you realize that this so-called holy water is given by people who call themselves prophets or pastors from certain churches. But if you go in the Bible, you will not find that so-called holy water. You don't see Jesus giving people holy water. You don't see the apostles, using holy water in their ministry. This so-called holy water is evil water. It carries spirits. It is spirits. It's witchcraft. Any church where you go and they want to wash your feet, or they give you water to go and sprinkle, water is now used as a charm. So it carries evil spirits. These guys were working in one of the church here with one of the biggest congregations. It's along Entebbe Road. It has a very big congregation. The man, let me not give details about this guy. But the guy, he removed even toenails from him, so that when this guy reaches any place, wherever he steps, he pollutes that place, he defiles that place, he curses that place. So Simon, his trainer, was an assistant in that church, and they have a clique. There are many. It's a network. It's all over the country and all over the world. So these guys get their water from demonic sources, and they infest people's homes and businesses with demons. They control people, they mess up people, they manipulate people. So if you are going to touch a church, be careful. This book will help you a lot to understand some of the things.
Okay, I noticed also in the book how it seems like most of the agents, the satanic agents, are given specific duties to carry on. Should we take it that that is how it is, that there are those who are assigned maybe to schools, assigned to churches, assigned to families, because that is what it seems like in the book?
Yes, there are those who are general duty. They can do many things. But there are those who are specialized in certain specialties. Then during training, sometimes they have to shift them from this department to this other department. Like now, I talk about Nsubuga. His training, when they got him, he had to be trained how to get demons and use them in the labs, sleep with people and those kind of things, carrying on the demons of immorality. But they had to train him now how to, when they taught him how to read and use computers, Facebook, he began now to specialize in attacking universities. You see him imparting a lot of demons in universities. But there are people who are put in specific places. Like you get a lecturer. He's a lecturer, he's very educated, he's a professor. And his station in a university, his specialty is to capture students. Some of them, before they target especially Christians, before you sleep with them, you cannot get your marks. They will do everything to fail you and to frustrate you until you sleep with them. So they can capture people through sex. Their salaries, they have secret salaries. The university gives them, but they also have secret salaries. Then you have those who are specialized in attacking just churches. Like Nsubuga now, he had to be shifted again to specialize in attacking churches, where he had to be trained on many other things.
I think the church comes off as one of their biggest assignments, because if he needs to go through all that training, you're in bars, then you're in schools. I think the church was a big target.
Yes, we have to know that the only threat to the devil's kingdom is the born-again church, not any other church, not any other religion. Okay? There are churches, where people are born again, like you have, say, Church of Uganda, Protestant Church. It has people who are really born again, given their lives to Jesus Christ, and they are going to heaven. But we have also those who call themselves Christians, but they do other things and what. The devil is very happy with them. So his specialization, the thing that he knows is robbing his kingdom.
Is a
born-again church. So he devises different ways of attacking them. There are people whom he will plant, like Nsubuga. By the time I got him, he was a devil worshipper, eating human flesh, but
in the choir.
He's in the choir, born-again church choir. He's loading the choir with spirits. But there are also those who are, agents of Satan. They are pastors. Because Nsubuga, he came from a satanic background, but to fit into the church, he had to be discipled. Like I sit here as a born-again pastor and disciple somebody, teach them how they are supposed to be, how to behave. So these pastors get these agents. They train in very powerful hotels. They teach them how to behave like Christians, so that when they come to church, it's very difficult to discern them. You have to have a discerning spirit. You know them by their fruit. They are targeting the pastor because they know the heart of the church, and the heart of the church is the pastor and his wife. So when they get that, their confidence, they will protect them from these other people who may accuse them of their unholy behaviors. So church is a real target. Now the devil knows there are people who really love God. They can't go to a shrine because they know that the shrines belong to the devil. So he has his own churches run by pastors. They have big congregations in the city, in this city of Kampala, in the whole country, and everywhere in all countries. There are churches that are run by Satanists. So be aware. In this book, we explain that. We give you even our tips of how to know some of the things and how they work, how they recruit people, so that you don't fall victim to the things.
Isn't it interesting, Pastor, how they go through all the training, have Bible study like we actually do, the Christians? It's a very sad one.
They know
So-
they're in war. And in the war, you have to study your enemy. You have to do everything possible to defeat your enemy.
Yeah.
And if you can penetrate his ranks, then the enemy, you are in trouble. If they can get their spies into your army, and that's what the devil has done.
In the book, we notice how you're against the youth watching vampire movies and horror movies. Now, if I'm a youth that does not want to watch maybe erotic movies where people are kissing and having sex because I do not want to get the spirits of immorality, and then my option is vampires and horrors, what do you have to say about it?
Those movies, anything called vampire, no, it is acted by Satanists. It's based on real satanic experience. Like Nsubuga would grow teeth like a vampire, go to the fridge, pick a dead body, a piece of a dead body and eat. You drink human blood. This is exactly what they do. And when you're watching that, that is something called accursed stuff. It brings the presence of the devil into your house. It comes with the curses. It comes with the bondages. I prayed for some young man who was captured by the just through watching a horror movie. I have put his story in there. When praying for that boy, we really fought. When he came back, that's when he told us the whole story. He just went into a local hall, film hall, and he watched the thing. By the time he went home, he was horrified. At night, the very things that he watched in the movie, came and took him physically took his inner man and caged him. Now here, this body remained like a shell, but filled with spirits that are from there. So he began to do a lot of things in school, causing accidents, disturbing schools, and many other things. Now, those other erotic movies, blue movies, those pornographic stuff, you are signing up for the devil. You don't know what you're watching. They will break your marriages. They will put you in bondage. People who act that, they are captured souls, and they carry very strong spirits. I prayed for people. I put here some of the experiences. You pray for a Ugandan girl who has accents like ours. Here we really speak African accents.
Yeah, we do.
But now the other, you cast out demons and they are speaking different accents. Then you come to this one which speaks pure American English. And he's telling you, I'm a spiritual lost. I'm a spiritual lost. What do you mean? She just opened the door and I entered. She opened the door and I entered. How? She watched me. I'm from pornography. Demons of pornography have held the people in bondage. They have put them in masturbation. Don't think you are masturbating and you think you're on your head to heaven. You're in chains. You need deliverance. You need to put your life right. In this book, we tell you deeper things than that.
Okay, in case you have forgotten what book we are talking about Satan's attack on the local church. Pastor, in this book, you also talked about how souls are captured, especially using social media like Facebook. Give us some more information on that.
Yes, now, Facebook, you see, demons, according to this, young people who have been in Satanism, they tell you demons have also refresher courses. Because demons don't die. They have worked with the human society from its primitive stage up to now. And as we advance in technology, they don't want to be left behind. So they go back and they are trained by, those specialized in that. And they are behind a lot of things, many discoveries. So they train them on how to use social media, and when they possess people, how to empower them and how to use them. Now, say in Uganda here, according to this young man, Nsubuga, and there's a guy whom I prayed for last week. Today is Sunday. I prayed for him on Friday. There's a building along Entebbe Road. I will not name that building. It has a place which has over 200 computers, one wing and the other wing. Now, in those computers, you'll find guys are seated. You find an agent here, another one there, and scattered. But you find the other computers, the keyboards are typing themselves.
Without a human
No human
face?
being, but they are typing themselves. They are controlled by demons. Now, those things control the Facebook and other channels. On Facebook, they can put something. They put maybe by people's photos. Now, when you see this person and the name, you'll be thinking, not all people whom you meet on Facebook. They are real people like me. I'm on Facebook. You're on Facebook, and
Yes,
many
I
of
am.
us. But there are also demons on Facebook. Now they target people. So as youth go on there, they are communicating with demons. They are chatting, and their things are quite addictive. They put in some, funnish kind which corrupt people. By the end of the day, you are addicted to this. Then some of them, they will send you pornographic materials and many other things. That's how these guys would work. Nsubuga was very good at that. Now, Nsubuga, he would sit there. You see a human body, but remember, he did not go to school. He was not educated. He doesn't know English, but he's communicating to you in English, and he's making fun and what. You don't know that this is just a body, but the spirit that is behind it there, that is empowering this guy, he's very fast. He's with you. You wake up in the morning, you go on Facebook, you find that guy there, your friend, your Facebook friend. And in the afternoon, anytime you log on your Facebook page,
Always
the
active.
guy is active. Begin suspecting. Because this is how they corrupt people and they get them. They put them in groups where they now begin sending terrible stuff. The whole thing, you find it there, and even some cases, shocking cases, you find in a book.
Okay, is the story of Nsubuga very unique? Is it just an African setting thing, or do we have some international people that are also falling prey of what happened to Nsubuga?
Yes, that's a very good question. We must know that the devil he's not only in Uganda. The devil is not only in Africa. The devil controls the whole world. In fact, the industrial world. And he gets the world according to their level of technology or the society, the level which the society is at. Say in the village there, he will not use computers.
Of course.
He will send the people through, he will capture them through immorality and through witchcraft, local witch doctors. But now these international ones, they are international written books like those Harry Potter books. I've prayed for people who have been captured through these demonic books. And I'll be hosting some of them on our YouTube channel at Deliverance Moment. So I prayed for, in this book I write about this young man from US, from Colorado Springs, who had come. They brought him. They had tried rehabilitation centers. The guy was addicted to alcohol, addicted to drugs. He was almost losing his mind. He had become. He dropped out of school. He was in trouble for the rest of the family. So when he came here and I began praying for him, I cast out a lot of demons. So I discovered this guy had been initiated through a college, university college. When he reached there, they spotted him out. They caused him to enter a secret society, which is the biggest society in American universities. It's called Kappa Sigma. They like calling it Kappa Sig. So they initiate him. You become a pledge, and you go through different kind of rituals. So demons began to control him. He was supposed to, corrupt his generation. Demons were telling him he's going to be the next Michael Jackson. He would sleep with virgins. The whole story is in here. It will help you to understand what really the Western world, the witchcraft in the Western world. We handle all those things. We don't handle actually only Africa. We are handling international stuff. So wherever you are, this book is very, very relevant to you.
You mentioned in this book something about star hunters, and for a person who is not really very familiar with stars, there's a bit of confusion. Do you mind rectifying
Yes, when
that?
you talk about star hunters, somebody may be looking at the stars on the sky and they
Yes.
think how I had stars. But this is Nsubuga was also specialized. They took him to train him to see how they can capture people's stars. Your star carries your destiny, carries your blessings. And when they were training him, they even used the Bible But they went with a very powerful sorcerer at the source of the Nile, and we tell you in details what they do, the rituals that are involved. Now, for you to be sleeping and you dream when somebody is stealing your bag, and you think, oh, it was just a dream. Or somebody has stolen your wallet, somebody has taken your academic papers. They are stealing something from you, but in the spiritual world. Now, according to him, every human being has a star. That's why even when God was showing Abraham that he took him outside and he said, can you look at the sky? If you can look, you can count those stars, your children are going to be like that. God was telling him indirectly that those are his children. Then when the guy took him even into the house of Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, and the 11 stars. Joseph has a dream when the 11 stars are bound before him, which means he had a bigger star, more brilliant. So he was going to be more successful in life than any other. So there are people who have very bright stars, and they are meant to shine in different areas. That's why we have academic stars, we have music star, sports stars, we have film stars, we have every kind of star. So your calling is on the star. That's why these witch doctors, they have the ability, these sorcerers, they have ability to see a star from childhood. So you can either catch that star or you can do exchange of the star. So like when Jesus was born, his star appeared in the sky. It is not only Jesus' star which appeared in the sky. It is not Jesus who was born. There were other children who were born. Their stars that appeared, but
his was the brightest.
Brightest. It was for a star of a king. That's why the magicians, those witches, got even confused and went into the king's palace, thinking the king has produced a prince who is going to inherit his kingdom. And it really troubled Herod. So when they realized there's no child who is born here, that's when they come outside and they begin looking for the star until to lay them there. And now Herod turns into its star heart. I want to kill the star. So no, we tell you how witch doctors really, people mess up people's destinies. They can catch your destiny and what. It is in this book. It's a very, very interesting topic. I give his experience. He gives me his experience. Then I go into the Bible and dig out. You will enjoy the Bible, the biblical bit of it. I'm sure you will enjoy it. So the book is where? On Amazon. And in Uganda, you can get them in our local bookshops.
Pastor, I would like to work under the assumption that during your ministry of deliverance, you have faced quite a number of challenges. I'm sure even some of the people that you're trying to deliver, maybe at your home. How have you gone about with the different challenges?
Oh, man. Yes, I put some of these challenges here. For instance, during the deliverance of this young man, they launched an attack, devil agents. I was hosting one of the girls whom God had used me to deliver. I was hosting on an FM radio. So when they heard the thing disturbed them, they began to make plans of how to come and hijack the girl and also attack me. And that's how Nsubuga encountered the real power of God and got into his deliverance. So we put the document there. But we have had real attacks on the family. First of all, just having these guys, they are challenging. Imagine you are married to a certain man and your husband you have this little, you have just given birth. Then they bring in your home strangers, and they're telling you these people have been eating human flesh. Oh, they are Satanists. You can imagine what my wife, the psychology, the whatever. But God gave us the strength. My wife is really a gift from God. I don't know how many other women could handle that. At one time, I was staying with two girls. Both of them were devil agents. God had delivered them. Now, we come here at church, and my wife goes down to our washrooms are behind, a little far from the church, and he finds these girls. They're in a conversation, but they have not seen her. And they are saying, human flesh is the sweetest, is the best meal, the best food you ever taste.
Wow.
My wife reached there and couldn't believe her ears. She even panicked. But she kept quiet. She prayed over it. And these are people going to come at home. You have this little kid who is less than a year, and all these other children we gave birth to, they came when these people were staying at home. So then we have gone on missions where I have had real attacks, coordinated attacks. So you discover later after the whole thing. We have had miscarriage. My wife had miscarriage, and we had an accident on the same day. It's a lot of things. So we put some of them there and how God has helped us to overcome such stuff.
Okay, most of you must be wondering who Nsubuga is, and we have a short clip of him, and he will introduce himself to you, what he has been through, and how the Lord delivered him.
Yes, Mukama ebazi amanya gange nze Nsubuga Joseph. Ya nebaza Mukama okuba nti no yandokola. Nali muweereza wa Sitaani naye olw'ekisa kya Mukama nendokoka. Mukama nansaasira nansumulula obusibe bwe nali ndimu. Mu kutandika okuweereza Sitaani nazaalibwa amaka nga gabasamize, naye time yatuuka nenvaayo ewaffe mu kyalo gye banzaala, nze nzaalibwa Masaka, nenja e Kampala okubeerako ne ssenga wange. So bwe najja okubeera e Kampala okubeera ne ssenga wange, gye nentandika okuba nga njagala okufuna ekyokukola. Bawa ssenga wange nanfunira omulimu, ntandika okubeera nga nkola. Gye nasinkanira abantu abanfuula ate okubeera omuweereza wa Sitaani ddala nnyo. Wadde nali nazaalibwa amaka g'abasamize, naye ate nali simanyi nnyo ebya Sitaani okugenda ewala nga bwe nayi mu baana abantu bwe nabasinkana. Nasinkana mukwano gwange nga baali bamuyita Simon, nga namusinkana ku mulimu gye nali nfunye omulimu eno e Kampala. Nafuuka mukwano gwange mulungi nnyo. Time yatuuka nanjija ewa ssenga wange nentandika okuba nga mbeera naye kati wuwe ddala ewakaawe. Nasooka kulowooza nti muntu mulungi kubanga yajjanga omuntu omulungi. N'atandika okuba nga mpa ssente. Mu kuba nga mpa ssente yansikiriza nansenda nanjija ewaka wa ssenga wange we nali mbeera ene Kampala. Nentandika okubeera naye ewuwe. Natandika okubeera nga njigiriza. Teyasooka kunneeraga nga bw'ali. Yatandikanga kumpanga soda. Mu kumpanga soda saalowoozanga nti soda bwe yampanga nali simanyi nti mulimu omusaayi gw'abantu. Yamikisingirangamu omusaayi gw'abantu mu soda. So time yatuuka nentandika okubeera nga andiisa ennyama y'abantu. Mu kuba nga ndi ennyama y'abantu, kati yatandika okubeera nga atandika okuntendeka batyo oba sinza Sitaani, kubanga yansikiriza ne ssente kubanga yali mugagga nnyo. Nalowooza nti ngenda kubeera mugagga mbeere nga ye bw'ali, naye saasooka kulowooza nali simanyi ki ekigenda okuddako mu maaso. Omuvubuka ono Simon yatandika okuntuleninga okuba nga ntandika okulwanyisa ekyaki, naddala ekyaki ento, ekyaki ezitandika. Nanjigiriza bateebe bakyusa amagenda g'abantu kubanga ye ekyo kyeyali best, kyeyali amanyi era gwali omulimu gwe nga gwakola. Twatandika okubeera ffenna nga tugenda mu maaso nga mbeera naye. Time yatuuka kati ng'alina okumpaayo ampongayo eri Sitaani ddala kuba kati wano yali amaze okuntendeka nga ntrainings, kati ng'ayagala ntwalire ddala eri Sitaani. Mu kubanga era time yatuuka n'antwala ku nnyanja okuba nga ntwalira ddala e Magombe nsinkane Sitaani gwe yali aweereza. Ebisingawo ku bulamu bwange byonna n'okusumululwa kwange byonna mujja bisanga mu kitabo.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for giving us your time and for allowing God to use you to publish this book, Satan's Attack on the Local Church. Please give us your parting shots.
Just maybe before we go, we are going to bring Nsubuga and have a whole story bit by bit on our YouTube channel, Deliverance Moment. It's a unique channel. God has called me into the ministry of delivering devil worshippers. So I have a number of them. Now, these guys work in the world of magic. We have encountered people like some very, very challenging people. Somebody who can turn, you are chasing the guy, then he turns into a bag of maize flour all of a sudden.
Okay.
A guy who can turn into an avocado tree and bear even fruit. Because the world, have you ever seen people who kind of turn papers into money? A newspaper into money? Magicians. The world of Satan operates on magic. There's a guy whom I'm going to be bringing who would cut off his hand and send it to cause accidents. A guy would turn himself into army, they call them army what? This is enough thing?
Ants.
Army ants. Ready ants, actually. He would turn into a god. He turns into many, many things. I've seen a lot of things. But one thing is, our God is powerful. We have not told you about how this guy was taken underground in the water where he met Satan. He was caged there for years. The guy who took him there turned into a dog. The guy was chained by skeletons. His whole suffering, the meeting with the Satan, the words which Satan spoke. There are people, there are thousands falling into hell, and people are coming from different religions. They know when they reach there, that's when they discover that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody goes to the Father except through him. But religion has taken them to hell. This biggest type of regret out there. So in this book, you will find all those things. But Nsubuga's testimony, our delivery is amazing. That's when you encounter the power of God, what God is able to do. His power is unmatched. This book highlights the power of God, the privilege that you have as a Christian, which no other religion has, which no other person has. So we want to bless the Lord for this book, and we bless you. Get our books. There are 4 books now on Amazon. 7 Years in Hell, A Few Minutes in Heaven, Soul Merchants, 7 Years in Hell, A Few Minutes in Heaven, Soul Merchants, Satan's Attack on the Lock Church, and the 4th book, which is An Hour in Heaven, A Few Minutes, An Hour in Heaven and Hell. It is an 8-year-old boy's visit to heaven and hell. That is my little boy, my son, when he was 8 years. God took him to, the Lord Jesus took him to heaven and hell. It is an amazing story. You will love it. It's a beautiful book. You will love it. All these books are just amazing. May the Lord bless you. We are so glad that you have followed us. And keep on following us on our YouTube channel. May the Lord bless you.
Thank you so much for viewing us. Please don't forget that the Bible also tells us that my people perish for lack of knowledge. Do not allow yourself to be that person that perishes out of lack of knowledge. Please purchase yourself a copy of Satan's Attack on the Local Church. God bless you.
Somewhere out there is a bound soul that may never know real freedom or get to live out the life God intended until they discover what you've just seen. You can help us get the word to them and set them on the journey to freedom. With your support, we are able to keep these messages on air and reach out to multitudes through crusades, seminars, and conferences. Give any amount today through our mobile money numbers or by bank deposit to our account.